Thank you for tuning in. And if you're watching this after the event, thanks also for being here. I wanted to come on, share a little nature spot that I know some of you like. Down here on the creek, the water's running pretty low, but we expect in the coming weeks that this will probably be running much higher and you'll probably be seeing people floating down the river. If you have a question, I'd love to hear it. If you're coming to this after the event, put your question beneath the video and I'll do my best to get to it also. If you are tuning in live, feel free to share that you're here. Welcome. Let me know that you are here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Happy Earth Day. Thanks, B. I appreciate that. Yeah, I saw that on my calendar and I haven't specifically felt connected to that today. I'm not sure what's been going on. I know that there is a Peace One Day that also happens in September. Welcome. A few of you are tuning in. Let me know if there's a question. Greetings from Kenya. Wow, which part of Kenya? It's been 5 years since I was in Kenya. I've only been there once, but I did enjoy my time there. I was outside Nairobi. We're always surrounded by beautiful nature. Yeah, it's one of my vices. There is a lot of beautiful nature here in Colorado, but I find that I feel myself most when I am in nature. Let me get into the comments here. Welcome, Sylvia from Australia with a big old wave. Welcome. How are you guys doing down there? Are you still in lockdown? What's going on? Hi, Jack. Hi, Joe. Welcome. Hi, Tess. How are you? I'm doing all right. How are you? I've actually just been chatting with a few folks on Instagram, and I thought I'd come over here. I won't be here for too long, so if you have a question that I can help you with, get it in now, because I generally can't get to all the questions once they start flowing. I get behind because I kind of get talkative about a specific question. Elena, welcome from Miami. Jennifer, hey, missed you. Oh, that's sweet. Hi from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Awesome. Welcome, Keisha. Hi from the Philippines. Welcome. From Kenya, coastal region. Got it. Yeah, I remember. I'm losing sight of names, but so I spent most of my time in Nairobi, specifically in Kibera, the urban slum in Nairobi, because my friend has a charity there that builds schools, and I've sometimes done some kind of fundraising and other stuff with him. But I do remember going to the coast, and it was so beautiful, but now I'm spacing on what the name of that place was. Perhaps you know, but it was really beautiful, like walking up and down the beaches, and I also went snorkeling. Happy times. Hey Lisa, happy Earth Day from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Welcome. Is it cold? Imagine it would be this time of year, right? Queen Sprinkle, welcome back. Constance in Hawaii, welcome. It's very beautiful. Awesome. Is there a way to get a commitment phobe, I think, to seek therapy? No luck so far. Instead, I'm facing divorce because he's running away even further than before after sabotaging the relationship. Got it. So you want to go into therapy to basically see if you can kind of save the relationship. And it sounds like he's not willing to play ball. So at some level, if he's, ultimately not willing, I don't know, you probably can't force him, right? I wonder if there's any negotiation that you can have there, in the sense, is there something, let's say that this is occurring to him, that he has zero interest or belief in this. So he might be in the perspective, if I'm doing this, I would be doing it for you, and maybe I'm not even willing to do that. But is there something else? Is there if he's willing to do this, that you're willing to, I don't know, do something for him, or buy something for him, or, what's maybe a fair exchange, if for the moment we assume that somehow this is occurring to him as a really thing that he just doesn't want to do. And I definitely know lots of people that the idea of therapy is it's just not their bag. Yeah, and I'd also be curious, just where the conversation is at with you guys. Are you still able to talk in some ways? Are you able to come together, or is it really high conflict? Are you finding each other in any way? Would he agree if I said, look, you're a commitment phobe, would he say, yeah, totally I am? Or is that your obsessment? Does he have a different perspective? What's his perspective? If I said you've got 4 sentences, how would he explain what's happening right now? Just in case there's some way that getting into his world might help you, or I might be able to interpret it. Howdy y'all from Texas. Welcome, sunshine. Jackie, hi, happy Earth Day. Love my trees and lakes, clean air. Love your vlogs. Welcome. You're the most interesting speaker. You make such profound points for us lovely girls. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Elena, hope I'm saying that right. You cannot imagine how much you've helped me. Oh, wow. I love hearing that. Mombasa is very beautiful. Yes. I don't think I got to Mombasa. I think it's north of Mombasa. It's funny, these places, like, you know, I don't know if you've had this, like, if you just don't go somewhere again for a long time, like gradually the map in my mental map is kind of disintegrated. But yeah, I really liked my time there. People were so friendly to me. That's what I appreciated. Hi from London. It's too late to think of a good question. Totally. I get that. I know that feeling. Sometimes I have that feeling and it's not even late in the day. Oh, hi, I'm late. Welcome, Jessica. Jessica, welcome. I'm your new sub. Awesome. Thanks for subscribing. I live in North Nyali Beach. Wait, is that Hawaii? No, that's Kenya. Huh. Got it. I don't know where that is. I hope it's nice. Sounds nice. Hello from Johnson City, Tennessee. Welcome. Heidi, hey. Yes, you said it right. Awesome. Muz says, got involved with a guy from work who was in a partnership. Pushed him away. He said he's made peace with it. Now I want him, but he is being hot and cold. When I talk about my feelings, he just says sorry. Yeah, so if it's helped, and you haven't, I do have a video I think that might be helpful with this. I think I may even have more than one, but I have one that's like help. I'm in love with a married man, and even if this guy's not married, it's sort of the principle of someone who's somewhat committed to someone else, and so you're not actually the primary relationship, and how to handle that situation. I've coached people in this territory. I know that it's more common than some people realize, but it can also be incredibly painful because you're kind of going for something that's ultimately not available. So my general orientation is to say, okay, I want to be in a partnership, so if this guy's ever available for that, I can be available for it, but right now he isn't. And so he probably doesn't have the ability to interact with you normally, because probably he has some feelings, or probably he might not be being transparent with his partner about what's actually going on. So I'm generally a fan of getting space from that situation and maybe just making a very simple declaration. If you weren't connected to this person in a partnership, married, etc., I would want to be in a relationship with you, or I'd want to pursue that. And in preservation of that possibility, either here or just anywhere in my life, because I will be moving into this, I actually need to take space. And it's hard. There's a real loss, and it's difficult because the loss often isn't known to other people, right? Because these situations aren't often fully known to other people. So, yeah, I would stop trying to get any of your needs met by him. And I would stop imagining that he's going to behave in a way that feels good and fair to you, because he's in a bind. It's not a great situation to be in. And so I think it's hard for him to make any promises, behave normally, have any kind of consistency. And also, I think it can be good to honor, okay, we do have a connection, but you're in a thing and you need to figure out, what are you doing with that thing? Are you going to honor that? Are you going to let it go? Are you going to open your partnership up? Like, what's going on? And you don't obviously have to be a yes to that, but it's kind of like the move is actually in his court. How you stay away is really like a no contact question. I have a video here on Instagram. Here on Instagram when we're on YouTube. I have a video on Instagram. It may also be on YouTube actually, about how to go no contact. It's really short. It's just like 5 minutes, and it's like straight to the heart of the matter of how I see it. So I think that's really what you've got to do. And then you need to put some things in your life that you can put your energy into, things that are nourishing to you, whether that's your friendships, your career, your health and well-being. Maybe you need to up-level some of your friendships so that they're actually more available to you. So being proactive about, when I would normally think to reach out to this person, text them or see them in the lunchroom at work, whatever it is, I actually need another strategy. So instead of being available at lunch, I'm going to go work out or go for a walk or swim, or I'm going to go and, call my cousin and catch up. Hi from Jamaica. Welcome, Marsha. You're awesome. Thank you. How do I help myself to quickly get out of an overthinking loop about some negative experiences and move into learning from and overcoming the experience quicker? Yeah, that's a good question. So I'm a fan of metabolizing experiences, which is different than overthinking them. Metabolizing is digestion. And I don't think we spend generally enough time digesting. I think life has gotten pretty fast at times for a lot of us. Maybe during lockdowns we've had a bit more time to digest. Digestion for me is almost like hitting your journal, or if you don't like writing in a journal, maybe you can audio journal. I sometimes even just shoot videos to myself of like, hey, here's where I'm at right now, here's what's up, and it takes less energy than hitting my journal, or I can do it when I'm on the move. So what would it take to give yourself the time, like in a way, so we don't want you overthinking, but we don't also want you stepping over your experience too quickly, negative experiences generally, it's like pain, I guess, something like that, right? But also sometimes our most negative and painful experiences are our best teachers. So sometimes just holding it in a context, things happening for us, even if it's not obvious at the time, even if it's really excruciatingly difficult. Even sometimes we never work out why it happened, but maybe just a sort of soft perspective that this could be for me can help. And then the other thing that comes to mind is getting some support. We all need support. We all need someone to talk to, or sometimes we need a professional to talk to. So are you getting support to actually help you break the pattern? Sometimes it's hard to break a pattern, on our own. I did one of my very first ever YouTube videos on this channel. I think it might even be my first YouTube channel. Was like my first YouTube video, one thing to change your life, and it's all about your inner critic. So if you've not watched that, go to the beginning and check it out. I have the same kind of problem with my ex at work, always flirting and carry on, but won't tell me anything. Yeah. So, do you have a request for him? Do you want him to not flirt with you? Have you ever made that request? Again, he gets a choice, but if you can do it from a place of your heart, where it's actually like, hey, this is actually difficult for me, and if any part of you cares about my experience, this is what I need you to know, and this is what would be helpful. Sometimes these sort of conversations, don't flirt with me, can almost be like we get into a kind of argument, right? Or sort of a back and forth that would almost be like a couple who are bickering. That's the dynamic that we want to avoid. It tends to keep people in that sort of loop. We're not a couple. You're not that person to me. I'm trying to move on from this. So you don't actually want him to tell you things, as hard as that may be, because that's offering yourself up as a place of intimacy for him, and that's not available. If you treat it as like a bit of a binary, 0-1. If he's a 0, he doesn't get to share his intimacy with you, and vice versa. And that might be really hard. Sometimes you even have to make a move in a company and ask for a different role or a different office, or change floor, or work from home, and that can seem drastic to some people, but it's like, this is your life, this is your heart, this is a really precious thing. Yes, your career is important and your stability, but also kind of taking care of yourself is important. And if he's not doing any participation in taking care of you, even if taking care of you means I don't talk with you, then you need to take care of yourself, right? And sometimes that might be putting a boundary that's not obvious to you. Are there any tips for rebuilding trust after a disastrous narc relationship? I feel I can't be with a man again, scared to death. I was really taken for a ride as an over-empath. Yeah, sorry you had that experience. And again, I did a video back in August 19. I think that's right. Yeah. About this sort of relationship between the narcissist and the empath, right? So, it can be completely brutal, but one thing that the narcissist can teach the empath, and probably in this dynamic, I hope I'm a bit more on the empath side of this, is actually how to really prioritize yourself, right? But how to do that in a healthy way, not in a way that is disregarding other people, but where I'm really clear, where are my needs, how do I take care of myself, what are my boundaries? So it might be that there's a healthy version of self-regard that might not be present in the narcissist, but is somewhere on the spectrum of self-orientation that you want to get more in contact with, so that you can't, in a sense, be taken for a ride? How can you become unwritable, for want of a weird phrase, or for want of a better phrase? How can you have it so that whoever comes into your space, you're actually going to continue to take care of yourself? And sometimes this shows up not just in intimate relationships, even though it can be completely discombobulating if you're in a relationship with a narcissist. But there might be an element of this that happens in other relationships in a very subtle way, right? That maybe you over-empath in other relationships, and this is your opportunity to really take that power back and to rediscover what you need in your boundaries, even if you discover it after an event where you say, hey, actually, I just stayed a little bit too long yesterday, so next time we get together, I won't be staying as long. I just wanted you to know that. The thing as an empath is you've probably got some pretty strong intuition. So we don't want you to lose touch with your intuition. We actually want you to double down on it and trust that you might be able to notice in future if you're getting into a relationship with someone that's actually not good for you to be in relationship with. So I've only been scuba diving once, and I had some problems underwater with my breathing, and it was not fun. I wanted to bolt, and the guy actually who was leading did a good job of calming me down, even holding my hand for a while, swimming around together. And as it happens, I haven't really been back with an obvious opportunity to go scuba diving, but I kind of knew that I'm going to have to do this again at some point, because I don't want that just to be my only experience of scuba diving. And I think it's a similar thing here. You're going to have to get back into the arena. You have your time. You can do it in right timing for you. But it's okay to be afraid. But one of the best ways to counter fear is intuition, right? And is doubling down on your own intuition and listening to it. And you as an empath are going to be picking up, you're picking up information that a lot of people are not picking up on, right? And that can be overwhelming at times, but it's also a gift. It's also intelligence. So we don't want you to be scared to deploy your own intelligence. And yeah, I would also study, I'm into the Enneagram. On the Enneagram, 0.3, a healthy 3 has healthy self-regard, right? They really back themselves, their own plans and projects. So I don't know how much that energy exists in you. I would get curious about it and even make a little bit of a study of it, because there might be something there for you. And I wish you well in your healing. What's your advice to ladies who have set their standards very high? I feel very enough alone and not attracted to low-value men. And again, being single for long, I feel better alone. Yeah. Well, I take a little different view on this than I think the majority of dating coaches. So I invite inquiry around high standards. What does high standards really mean? Now, high standards can mean, I like the finer things in life, including in men. Like I, prefer a fine meal than going and eating fast food. High standards could also mean that I'm defending myself against intimacy because no guy can meet the threshold, so I don't actually have to go into intimacy. So high standards can sometimes, in part, be a form of defense. Subtle, but that's worth looking at. I did a video in September last year, where I talk about the 4 sort of ways to be a high value woman. But I also talk about a 5th bonus point, which sort of turns this a little bit on its head and suggests that the solution to being low value is to be high value. And the solution to being high value is to actually step off the hamster wheel of value and to sort of realize your intrinsic value rather than it's something that I have to be high versus low. So it's almost like a 2-step maneuver. Now, I don't know where you are in that process. It might be that sort of being in your high value is new enough that actually that this is exactly right, and you need to keep honoring your needs and your boundaries. And always our needs and our boundaries are going to be important. But there can sometimes be a way that men and women constellate their identity around, quote, being high value, and it's actually a form of unfreedom because nothing quite measures up, and it makes it difficult for them to be in touch with the parts of themselves that they find difficult. So maybe they show the world their high value, right? They show their nice clothes and their sparkling career and their brilliant smile and their sparkling personality and their Tesla or fill in the blank, so to speak, but they're actually not fully in relationship with their darkness, their disappointment, their sorrow, their longing, and the places that they're less authentic. So it's my personal take. I'm not saying I'm right about this. I'm putting things into your reality for you to go find out what's true for you. I'm a fan of trying to be authentic. And in authenticity, we sort of drop the act, and so sometimes there can be a very true form of high standards, which is just, yeah, it's true for me. I really notice, I appreciate it when a guy shows up in a certain way, or I really appreciate it for myself when I really show my best to the world. I just don't want your inner critic sitting in the background demanding that you always have to be high value and that everyone around you has to be high value. It's subtle. At certain times in life, it's exactly right, and you want to surround yourself, quote, with the best people that you can. But I also think there's a path that can sometimes sit beyond that. And I know that when I've coached people and we've gotten deep into this territory, sometimes we've noticed, when you relax certain standards, you're actually free to be yourself more. You can be more authentic. And actually, you want a guy that measures up. We don't want a guy that has to be so performative all the time. Right? You actually probably want a guy that's real and has vulnerabilities. And sometimes high-value men aren't showing their vulnerability, they're actually showing their hero persona. And hero personas are great and they can be super inspiring, and there can be part of that that's just real, but it's also sometimes a persona. And so we also want to learn how to embrace our shadow alongside that. So it's a little paradox, how to put your best foot forward, but not to identify with your best foot, if that makes any sense. You also helped me leave a 20